Alright, folks, so I'm going to get to reviewing Kamikaze by Eminem. So this is Acid Roots, and the last time we checked in with Eminem on the channel, I had just reviewed Revival. I basically gave that a 1 out of 10, and really could only recommend to you guys just one song, and that was just the Ed Sheeran song. Uh, Eminem picked some terrible singles to help promote Revival, and he vanished too soon to really get something into the swing, and there simply were not enough songs on that project that had the volume to carry the project. I mean, there just was really nothing on there. And so obviously a lot of other folks out there hated this project also, so Eminem came back with a fiery response, which which happened to be Kamikaze. Now, even in my eyes, this is better than Revival. I think anything would be, but um, it's not much better than Decent. And we're going to get to the main reasons why, but I think we'll kind of talk about the singles first, so you kind of start to see what's going on with that. So the first single was Fall. This has been kind of giving me like some finicky type vibes with it, just because I've been trying to really describe as the approach as to how it worked, and it's a good song, but it feels kind of like an oddball song to pick as like the first single. I mean, to me, this feels like the second or third single that it should have been. But for Eminem to start off right off the bat with describing his response to his haters and kind of saying "fuck you" and that sort of stuff, um, it's strange. I mean, Eminem would be one of the few people who could do that, but uh, the fact that we're talking about this right off the bat, I think that's kind of why for an Eminem single it charted kind of mellow in terms of what he normally does. I mean, it's not recovery smash hit, it's not relapse, acclaim from the Dr. Dre and him being back. It kind of has more of this vengeance in mind, and that's the thing. I mean, Eminem actually had several singles with that kind of mentality out, if you also count Kill Shot that came out around that time. So you had Fall, Kill Shot, Lucky You, and in some cases I almost think Venom had that same topic matter also. So that's kind of, Eminem was just really concentrated on like clapping back, and kind of makes for an interesting listen, because it seems like I was kind of thinking, well, what could Eminem possibly talk about this time around? Minus the fact that he's kind of annoyed with people's distaste. I mean, to at least his fans and his critics point, or to at least his fans and his critics credit, there really was not much highly to speak of off of Revival. And I think that's kind of the thing. I mean, I've noticed this about Eminem in recent years. He just does not seem to have that good of tonality for being able to determine what's good and what's bad. It seems like he's becoming more and more tone deaf, which is kind of shameful just because he's still such a top-notch lyricist, but it seems like it just doesn't happen to be matching up as well. That kind of is really starting to detract from his legacy, just because people say, okay, the lyrics are fine, but as far as like the rest of the project actually goes, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done. But the singles are actually stellar on Kamikaze, and that just happens to virtually be like the thing. So the second single is Venom, and I actually like this song better than Fall. It's more exciting. It's about as close as you're going to get to an Eminem outgoing song. Eminem has probably said that he's more of headphone music, but I was glad for the most part that this is probably the most yeah, like I was saying, the most outgoing and meant for things that could be something related to clubs and that sort of stuff. But um I think that this probably charted worse than the rest of the singles, and it's the same thing with Lucky You. So, but Lucky You, I mean, the thing about Lucky You is I really enjoyed that song. I mean, this is something that makes it easier to defend Kamikaze, just because any song that Eminem had a guest rapper on was actually an excellent song. I mean, both of these, Joyner Lucas can rap, and that was proven. hadn't really paid attention to that dude that much. I mean, he had up to that point he had not put out an album, and I don't really do like just the spare singles and songs that are just released to radio that much. I mean, I need like a project, but yeah, I mean, or Joyner Lucas had a great verse, and Eminem did the same thing. So that was just a good song. I mean, that's the thing. Eminem doesn't really release in tandem with too many people anymore. Most of the time, it's him by himself, unless he has like someone on the hook or something. But I was glad. That's a good look for Eminem. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm glad that Eminem was kind of paying attention to in terms of his complaints. And so that's 2 out of 3 singles that actually wound up kicking ass. I mean, in some cases, Fall was good, but I think it's tough to complain about that song. That's just the thing. I'm just trying to think of as to like my true complaints about it, but I don't know. I think I would have liked a song from Eminem that was aimed for the radio and was trying to be, something just to kind of keep it easy and have something to dance to and that sort of stuff. I mean, none of this is really dancing music. None of this is really night out music. So, seeing Eminem in that light, but most of it is just him trying to defend his legacy. But, this depends upon how high your taste for that are. I mean, and that's kind of the thing is Eminem has said he said in lyrics somewhere on this album that his party days have pretty much parted ways. So it once again is an inward album. So I guess we'll get to like the songs that I recommend to you and such. So out of 11 songs, I wound up liking either 5 or 6. I'm gonna sit there and count these. So here are the ones I recommend. So The Ringer, Greatest, Lucky You, Not Alike with Royce the 5'9", Fall, and then Venom. So that's about half the project, but I still kind of feel on the fence about Fall. I mean, that's kind of the thing. I mean, obviously to just combat your haters on your first single is a good move for Eminem, but I think it was just so unexpected. I didn't really know as far as how to take it. But yeah, so I want to talk in particular about Not Alike with Royce the 5'9", because this is a song I had basically heard since this album came out. I made sure to pick up this song just because of the song Caterpillar that Royce the 5'9" did with him. And this is another highlight. I mean, this, in my opinion, is one of the best Royce the 5'9" and Eminem collabos. And M basically goes in on Machine Gun Kelly on this track, and this is what's incited the Rap Devil song. And I think, I saw a comment on a hip hop website from someone that said that Eminem basically demolished Machine Gun Kelly with this song, and he didn't even have to do Kill Shot. That to me was a highlight as far as that actually went. So Lucky You and Not Alike are 2 of the best songs on the project. Out of all the songs I recommended to you, both the guest features really nail it. And I particularly like Greatest also. It kind of reminded me of Rap God. Yeah, Rap God. I mean, just the way he went in on that. That was another similar song to that. And it's kind of good listening to Eminem back on those terms just because you kind of remember, I mean, with all this spite and problems and complaints you have about Eminem, when he actually nails it, it's like, oh yeah, I mean, this is why I like him. And that's kind of the thing. I mean, those moments are becoming more and more fleeting, but I do like to kind of say that there are times when Eminem just happens to nail it. And then The Ringer, the first song that you hear on this project, was the kind of trap music Eminem that probably should have been on Revival. If he could have done songs like this on Revival, I would have definitely said Revival would have at least been like a 4 or something out of 10. But yeah, so those are just some highlights there. Venom, like I said, was one of the craziest and just overall most terrifying songs on the project. And that's good. It stands to reason that it should be. I'm glad for that. But still, on top of that, I would have to say there were some songs like Nice Guy and Good Guy that I felt like were filler. I mean, maybe he wanted to help out that Jessie Reyez chick, but I think that if they probably could have done a better job with those. I mean, I don't know if they were trying to be pop or pop rap or whatever, but they kind of lacked taste. And Normal was basically trying to be like a song, Eminem song for the ladies, but it was kind of slinky, kind of something that it seemed like Tech Nine would kind of do, but um, was really, I mean, there is a gap between Eminem album cuts on this project, and that's kind of the thing. So, I mean, that's kind of the situation. I mean, he did this so seamlessly with like Relapse and Recovery, but um, I don't know. I mean, there just were not enough. I mean, considering that there's only 11 songs on here, I felt like this should have been a field day for Eminem to be able to pick like five, six, seven album cuts and just knock it out. I don't even care that there's not more than three singles. So this is the fact that the album cuts are very lackluster. There's just not many. Minus Not Alike. I mean, that's about the only best one on here, and that's just because of Royce the 5'9", I would have to say. So, a lack of album cuts and not really any good pop rap to kind of back this project, and probably, yeah, that's just kind of the thing. So yeah, so me liking 6 songs out of 11, I'm gonna give this album basically just like a 6 out of 10. And really, that's relatively strange for me to do that. I suppose I'd rather give it like a 5.5, but it's basically just a little bit better than decent, just because of songs like Not Alike and Lucky You. That's probably why I would raise the score on this better. I kind of think that's like the main thing. Venom is another highlight too, so those 3 songs really boost this album. But um, I do feel like Eminem at this stage should have been able to kind of be able to completely do like album cuts and that sort of thing. And I definitely think, considering as long as he's been doing it and his lyricism, I mean, if he can do lyrics like that, he should be able to translate that into songs and have topics and that sort of thing. So I know Eminem can do like good albums, but this is getting tougher to kind of believe that anymore, just because they're, I mean, it's like, hey, you should be able to make 10 good songs, you know? That just kind of happens to be the thing. But it is above average. I mean, that's the thing. For him to be able to do the singles and be able to do a great intro, and then another song like Rap God and that sort of stuff. I mean, it's obvious we have to give him more credit, but I still think that um, he needs to kind of copy his template from like Recovery and Relapse and kind of say from there, like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff. But the social score, that, you know, how I would rate this around your friends and you know, casual listeners and that sort of stuff, I'd probably have to give it like a 5, just because, well, yeah, about a 5, just because really it's Eminem, so that, you know, you obviously don't need to say like, oh, this is something new, let's try this out. But I mean, your folks are gonna know who Eminem is, but somehow these songs just do not feel like triple A Eminem. That's kind of the thing. I mean, I feel like Kill Shot would probably be the better song to recommend as opposed to like Fall, or yeah, or any of the singles. I mean, Kill Shot's probably the best song out of all the Eminem singles that came out in 2018. But I mean, it's basically just B plus rate Eminem. That's kind of what you're getting at this point. It's B plus. Nothing is as immediate as Love the Way You Lie, or like Crack a Bottle or something like that. But it is above average. But it still feels like the way that he did it is just decent, just because there's just not enough. So if all that makes sense, that's what I'm trying to describe to you. So yeah, it's B plus Eminem, but there's just not enough of the good songs, and he does not even seem to be able to fill out like an 11 song album with classics. So